intent, be outcomes driven, be prepared, be respectful, celebrate our wins, the district and each other, challenge the issue, not the person, have fun, manage time wisely, put students first, resolve the issues during the meeting, speak from one's own perspective, and speak with one voice.
Third, fourth, and fifth grade.
Okay, do we know if we have anyone signed up for public comment?
None.
Excellent.
Third, fourth, and fifth graders that are being recognized this evening. Look at this.
Take off your backpack here.
I do, well, from the end. Unusual, yeah. That's why I did it.
Tell him you got them all cut.
Quick reminder, turn your mics on when speaking tonight.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to have the parents come in and just circle around real briefly. Elementary parents, thanks for coming out.
And I'm going to hand it over to you to give a short explanatory, like what we're doing.
Yep.
And you will need your mic. Do you want to do it from there?
They're right there.
All right, is that everybody? Yep, almost everybody. Are we good? Or are we waiting? Okay. All right, excellent. So the first order of business, Dr. Beda, I believe we have some certificates to give out.
We do. So first of all, I want to congratulate these students that are here from grades 3, 4, and 5 who received a perfect score on the MCAS reading or the MCAS mathematics this prior year, 2024-25 school year. And I think it's really important because that you guys took this test so seriously and you did so well. I think it speaks to the type of student that you are and what kind of work you want to do, and you make us really proud. I want to thank the parents for always continuing to support public education and your kids working to support us and our staff. That allows really our kids to individualize their learning. In this particular case, I want to tell you guys something. I never got a perfect score. Never, ever. I don't think ever. So I want to congratulate all of you for your hard work. When I call you up, I'm going to give you a certificate. The certificate, and if I mispronounce your name, you need to correct me because I need to learn it, okay? All right, here we go. So starting with third grade, Josephine James, perfect score, third grade reading. Third grade mathematics, Dennis, is it Puhash? Puhach. Is that you? Come on over. Congratulations. You can go right back. And I've got third grade Jace Poliaco for math. Third grade math, Tyler DeRiaso. And I have third grade math, is it Ian Samaras?
Ian Samaras.
Samaras. I am getting corrected tonight. Thank you so much. Congratulations. All right, Sebastian, you're going to have to help me out. Sebastian, is it Hollenbach?
Hollenbach.
Hollenbach, third grade math. Come on up. And I've got for fourth grade reading, perfect, is it Izette Mayo Jr.? Not here. We'll still give him a clap. Is it Naila Saintloth, fourth grade reading? Okay. Accepting on their behalf. Fourth grade math, Myra Lazarus? Mira Lazarus. I'll come to you. For fourth grade math, we have Tyler Tangvo. And last but not least, fifth grade math, Scarlett Driscoll. We'll take a little group picture. Parents, congratulations. Like I said, it's not, as you can see from this, it's not every student that gets a perfect score on their local state assessment. So congratulations to all the students. You guys ready? Want to squeeze together a little bit? Want to hold yours up that way? Yeah, open it up just like this. Open it up. Open it up. So there you go. Here you go. Perfect. Excellent. I'll sit on this. Oh, that one just went up.
Get nice and close together, please. Yep. Perfect. Perfect. I am nice.
It's okay.
It's all right. All right, ready? Nice big smile. And one more. Awesome.
Congratulations, guys. Congratulations, guys.
No, it's the room. It's the room.
Yes.
Got it right. Spell the last name correct. If there's any misspelling, let me know.
And I can't even touch my phone.
Sebastian likes to do like spare rooms for fun. And like, I
Wow.
had my friends, like the doctor of mathematics, like give him some crazy equations. He's just like rattling them off in his head.
While
Hold on to that friend.
parents are going that way, students are coming this way. Students are coming this way. If you're in middle school being recognized, or high school, you're being recognized, you're over here. 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th graders. This way, if not, then go that way.
Parents this way, students,
Students being recognized this way. Anybody in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th grade being recognized? Come on down. Thank you. Great. How you doing? Those guys want to be recognized.
I said Mayo to show that to my house.
No. Yep.
yeah, students are here, parents are gonna be over there. Yep. Yeah. Entourage, bodyguards.
Looks like Matt's at a wedding.
Yeah, no kidding. It does.
Matt, it's not a wedding.
You right here now? I'm up here, yeah. I have a cage upstairs.
Any students that are being recognized tonight? We're right here. Parents, just fill around. Sorry, it's a small room. Students being recognized tonight right against the wall. You guys can slide down. You can slide down a little bit. I won't fight it. All right, we'll do Isette first. So Isette received a perfect score in 4th grade MCAS reading. Congratulations. You can stand right over there if you want. So, Madam Chair, through you and the rest of the committee, it's my honor to present tonight our secondary students who received perfect scores on MCAS tests from this past spring. I really want to thank the students for taking it seriously. Because as we all know, there's a lot of things going on about MCAS, so to be at your grade level and really work hard to still work your best that particular day to get this perfect score. As I said to the younger students earlier, I never received a perfect score, so I don't know what it means to get a perfect score. That was a joke, but it's true. Parents, thank you so much for supporting public education and for believing in our staff and our students, working together with our administration, support of the school committee, of course, and the town to make sure that we're recognizing students. And that's what this evening's all about for these short minutes, and so thank you for taking the time away from all the things that you do. I'm going to call you up for a good handshake, announce your name. If I mispronounce it, you need to correct me, okay? Because I want to learn names. So I have 8th grade reading, Layla Alex Kamara. Not here, okay? We clap for her, though. Perfect score, 8th grade reading, Miguel Mota. Congratulations. 8th grade mathematics, Sophia Tron. 9th grade science, Brennan Cox. 9th grade science, Ava Cunningham. 9th grade science, Hyven Stutter. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I have 10th grade mathematics perfect score, Gabrielle Paul. Congratulations. That's a great score. Hard test. And a perfect score in both reading and math, our only student, Percy Takine. So thanks again. We'll take a. Oh, we got one more. Who we got coming in? St. Loth. Come on in. You ready? Receiving the perfect score on the MCAS 4th grade reading is Nayla St. Loth. We're going to take a quick picture. Parents, feel free to do your thing.
Everybody can get close in, please. Get close together. Ready. And one more. Great.
Congratulations, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming out tonight. Thank you. Thanks for making it. Sure. No more? Sure.
Now I'm on. Good evening. Thank you, Stoughton School Committee, for having the Gibbons Elementary School here today. It's been such a highlight. Our student ambassadors were so excited for the Pledge of Allegiance. And I have some student ambassadors with me right now that I'm going to introduce. You guys ready to introduce yourselves?
Yep.
Just say your name and your grade, okay? Good grade.
My name's Braden, and I'm in 5th grade.
I'm Lincoln and I'm in 5th grade.
I'm Amelia, and I'm in 5th grade. I'm Sawyer, and I'm in 5th grade.
Excellent. So as I was preparing this PowerPoint presentation, I was mindful of time. I know there's a lot on your agenda this evening, and the prevailing thought I had while I was preparing this presentation was this is all about the students and teachers at the school. And having these students with me today is really what it's all about. So thank you to you, to the students. Thank you to the parents for being here. It's a wonderful community. And on a personal level, I went to the Gibbons Elementary School in 1990, class of 1990. So it's always very special to me to be talking about the Gibbons Elementary School. So a little information on the Gibbons Elementary School. Opened in 1971. We celebrated our 50th anniversary a few years ago, and that was a really great celebration. And I have these students here because I wanted to talk to you about our Student Ambassador Program. Our Student Ambassador Program is something that we're all very proud of. It's for 4th and 5th grade student leaders, and students apply to it. There's an application process to it. We had about 65 students apply to be student ambassadors, and we have over 40 right now. We also have another opportunity for students to apply in the new year. So really wanted to embrace students that are making, doing a great job in terms of their academics and their behavior and just doing a wonderful job, and they represent the school. So I know that they wanted to talk to you a little bit about being a student ambassador. So I'm going to have Lincoln start. Hi, Lincoln.
Yep.
So what do you enjoy most about going to the Gibbons Elementary School?
So what I enjoy is all the events we get to do. And also it makes me feel very excited to wake up every morning at 6:30 o'clock to feel that energetic feeling about going to the Gibbons.
Excellent. Excellent. And Amelia, can you talk to us about being a student ambassador? I know you've been a student ambassador for 2 years now.
So yeah, I've been a student ambassador for 2 years, and what we basically do is we have a lot of jobs that help with the school. So a lot of the times in the morning, you could help outside with the kindergartners, do breakfast, or help out with crosswalk. And then we have other jobs like hall monitor in the afternoon. And we also have, at recess time, you could give up your recess to help the kindergartners. And not only that, but it's just like you get to be responsible and learn how to be responsible.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Amelia. And Sawyer, can you talk to us about being a student ambassador, what you enjoy about that?
I enjoy being they're always so energetic, and it's just nice to help them, and I'd rather do kindergarten stuff than have my own recess.
Yeah, so you're giving up your own recess. That's pretty cool. Excellent. And Braden, you're a student ambassador, right? 5th grade. And what's the job that you do?
Hall monitor.
You're hall monitor. So what does that consist of? What do you need to
So
do?
like at the end of the day, for bus, if people are running, we stop them.
Yeah.
And if they keep running, we report them to Mr. Goya.
Yes. We seem to. Thank you, everyone. You did a great job. So I'll continue along with my presentation. We did not plan that. That was not scripted. So great. You did a great job presenting. That's not easy to present in front of everyone. So there are many things that make us a special place to be. We have a Gibbons Community Closet where our PTA organizes during parent-teacher conferences and back-to-school night. We have school supplies for all families, coats, all sorts of clothing, anything that families need. There's a huge need in our school district now more than ever. Our Gibbons PTA has recently mobilized to start a food drive that we started last week when we heard about SNAP benefits being impacted. Within 3 days, we have 2 truckloads worth of food that we're dropping off tomorrow. The student ambassadors will be helping load it. I don't know if I told you that, but you will be. We have our Veterans Day activities, some veterans joining us on Monday. We have a math challenge that's become very big within our school in the district, and the math challenge is very exciting. Right? And it's all extra math work they do, and it's become a model district-wide. So we're very proud of that. Here are some pictures of our student ambassadors, a group picture that we took. There's Ambassador Bowen there on the left. We also have character awards each month. I know that many of our ambassadors have been recognized. Our character awards are based on our Character Strong program. Our first character trait in September was respect. So we always try to recognize kids that are making great choices. We like to have a lot of fun at the Gibbons. So on the right, do you guys remember that? Bobby G Day? Yeah, yeah. We had Bobby G Day, and then we had our recent booster fun run. We were trying to raise $25,000, and the idea was that if we met our fundraising goal, I would get a mohawk. And that's Mason and Maverick right there. You can see they've got mohawks. So they inspired me, and we had a lot of fun with that. And on the left, we recently had Bobby G Day. Our custodian is going through a tough battle with cancer right now, and it was National Custodian Day a few weeks ago. So we wanted to really make a special day for him. And it came together quickly. Actually, a parent at the DAW created that banner on the left. And Bobby had a great day with his family at the Gibbons. It was a very special morning for him and our staff. We have our Ruby Bridges Walk to School next Friday. This is a program that we have been involved with for at least 3 or 4 years. Ruby Bridges' birthday is November 16th, and we're hoping that Ruby Bridges joins us virtually. So we're very excited. We'll all be wearing purple for that, and we expect over 200 kids that will be walking to school next Friday. Diversity is our strength. We know that, and we celebrate that. We have our Black History Month Challenge each year. The kids get very excited to develop projects, and we have a wonderful time with that. We have some incentives to encourage kids to learn more about Black history, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful event. Our Multicultural Night continues to build. Our PTA is planning a huge Multicultural Night in January, and you can see these are my PTA board members right there, Latanya Martin with her son Kai, and then our other board members over here. And we just have a lot of fun with celebrating our diversity, and it's just so important to us at the Gibbons. And of course, student achievement is always on our mind. We use multiple ways to measure student achievement. Our MCAS results came out about a month ago, and we're still looking over those. We've made some great progress in areas, and we always have areas to improve. We have other data points that our teachers are using daily, whether it's STAR, access results. And I wanted to end with this. The thing that makes our school so special, of course, is our students and families. Our faculty, whether it's our teachers, custodians, secretaries, bus drivers, every single one of those people contributes to the success of our school. And I, every day, feel privileged and honored to work there. So it's a great honor to represent the Gibbons School today. You all did a great job. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about the Gibbons School.
I was wondering if you want to give information out to the audience such that they can perhaps donate to the SNAP program. It sounds like a wonderful idea and so timely, obviously.
Of course. The Gibbons is a drop-off location, so if anyone would like to donate food, the food pantry is looking for non-perishable items along with coffee and tea came up, coffee and tea. So we're emphasizing that. And then we will be connecting with Peg Carbone, St. Anthony's, and Ilsa Marks to see what they need beyond this week, but we're doing a drop-off tomorrow. The Gibbons will continue to be a drop-off location for the month of November. We are also collecting coats through Anton's Cleaner. We have a drop-off for coats, winter coats.
That's wonderful. I think it's great that the schools can actually help out the entire community, and what the children learn is something they'll have the rest of their lives.
It's very important to us. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, just for clarification, I think the coach program is through the Lions organization, if I remember correctly, right?
Sorry.
No.
So Stoughton Lions Club, thank you, Dr. Bida.
Yep.
Stoughton Lions Club, they work with Anton's Cleaner. Thank you, Ms. Powers. And I believe we collect the coats and then Anton's cleans them? Yes. Stoughton Lions Club does great work throughout the town, so I know they're doing a great job, and I'm sorry for leaving them out.
And just the Gibbons is literally the author of that this evening, but it's being done at all our elementary schools. But thank you for noticing that, because it's great PR for us to get that out to folks before the winter comes. Thank you.
It's wonderful. And the last thing I'll say is there's a lot going on behind the scenes between the school department and our first responders around holiday assistance. It's a wonderful thing that we do, and there are many counselors and teachers and police officers and firefighters involved, and I don't know if people understand how much work goes into that, but it's a labor of love for people, and we help hundreds of families every year. So we're looking forward to that.
Principal Goulier, if someone wants to drop off food or donations for the food drive, what is the appropriate way for them to do that?
Yeah, we have a drop-off right in the main lobby.
Okay.
So just, we have tight security, of course, during the day, but if we'll buzz them in and they can drop it off, no problem.
Perfect. Thank you. Great. Thank you guys so much for coming out and sharing what you love about the Gibbons. We really appreciate it. Great job.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, the next agenda item is the Collins Report, which should be under the Superintendent Reports and Recommendations, which happens to be the next item on our agenda. So,
Thank you.
Dr. Bite, if you can share what you learned about the Collins Report.
Yeah, so what I did is I took the lead, as was noted by the members of the board, to Tom Coulter, our town manager, who assured me that once the draft is available to him, it'll be available to us. So I'm anticipating that. I also wanted to, I kept the copy in there of what was given to us at the last meeting, and then what I also did is, I tried to do a little bit of homework, and I apologize, I just got this done. This is just an example of what the final recommendations of a Collins report looks like. Okay, so they give you a full executive report, all the details, but then they give you recommendation sheet. So ours could be this big, it could be 10 pages long, I don't know. But this was just something I went online and I actually saw the Collins reports and where communities they've been working in. And I said, you know what, let just give you an example. This is called the Collins Center Report Recommendation. This one's dated June of 22nd. And it's got recommendations noted. Those numbers are probably aligned to a subset number within the report. So you have a description, the town should appoint a finance director to lead the finance management team. Hired May 22, ranking 2, mark 1, done. So as you can see, I'm also, as I read some of these draft reports or final reports publicly, what it looks like these are internal processes because they can't touch your right as an elected school committee member as it pertains to the school budget. That is under the state statute. So a local policy cannot supersede a statute, which you have as the governing body. So I wanted to share that with you to just give you as a piece of information. I don't know what our final one is going to look like, but I've been assured that we will get a copy of it. So I'm expecting to get that copy, and as soon as I get it, I will electronically share it to you, and then or get you a hard copy if you so wish.
Any questions for Dr. Baeta?
Absolutely. So my understanding is that Collins report is going to be about 100 pages long.
Yep.
I also know that there has been push in past years to maneuver some finances into other areas that involved the schools. So I would like to have, I believe we have a liaison to the select board, do we not? Wasn't Armando our liaison? Yes, I thought that you were. So I would like for our liaison to stay on top of that. I believe the Collins report is coming out in a week or so. So more than just getting a copy, I would like our board to actually do the same as the Finance Committee, which is have a seat at the table and be able to look it over, be able to say something about it, be able to view it. Certainly, the chair of the Finance Committee came up to the Select Board and said that they want to be able to have a seat at the table and have discussions over this. 100 pages is a lot, and there may be some things embedded in there that would affect the schools. And maybe it would violate, I don't know if it would violate policy, if it would violate DESI, if it needs to be reviewed. Certainly, we have Tracy Novak at our disposal through the MASC that we can talk to with this, but I think it would, I think it would be wrong of us to just say, well, we'll just allow it to go through and not have at least our governing board have a say. So I would like to do a little bit more than just be provided a copy of it at some point, but to actively participate.
So in response to that, the exact words that I received from the town manager over a phone conversation the following day after our meeting last week was that the school committee has all of its intentions that it wants to give complete feedback, if you will, on what that report entails. That's what I received. As soon as I get a copy, like I said, I'll provide it to you. I will go through it myself based on having some experience with these protocols and procedures. Some of them have already started in the town. For example, the town has already started free cash not being used for operational purposes. If you recall, last year was the first year of where it was only used for the visiting nurses, and that was in response to the way healthcare is done. So they needed to be offset, I want to say $300,000, but don't quote me on that. No one else was able to utilize operational, free cash. As you know, we have a stabilization account now with about $10 million in it because we moved a significant amount. It's my understanding that free cash this year will also be significant. And again, I don't want to toss out a number because I don't have that number yet, but it's not going to be $1 million or $2 million. It's going to be significant. And so I think the intent is to utilize capital funding, building stabilization, with those funds and not use them for the purposes of free cash, for the purposes of the operational budget. So that's what I know. That's the phenomenon we did last year. If you remember, that it was supposed to be, I'm pretty sure I'm correct in saying it was supposed to be a 7-year implementation. It went right into basically a 1-year implementation, of which I have gone on the record to say I have concerns about. Especially with the fiscal crisis that I think we're going to be entering over the next few years. But again, do we use stabilization for that purpose? So I've said that I like plans. I appreciate financial plans that have a window, but I don't necessarily agree with the window that was done because we moved right away. But it was done because of bonding and all of that other stuff, and I have to defer that to town hall. I'm not responsible for that part of the finances of the community. But I do take it to heart that we're going to be given the opportunity to be at the table and provide feedback. That's what I'm hearing. I'm just communicating it to you in the way that I was told. So
It would be my preference to have part of our committee, as much as I'd love to have you there also, as a governing board in the town, we should have a seat at that table to be able to have a say in this. So I think that there should be some committee members, 1, 2, probably 2, that are an active participant, listening in to what's going on, having a full say along with the financial committee.
Yeah,
It should be a tri-committee. It shouldn't just be the select board. It should be select board, FinCom, school committee. Everyone should have a seat at that table. We should, just as much as FinCom and everyone else.
yeah, and I don't to speak to Ms. Campbell's comments at FinCom, which thank you for providing me that because I didn't know. I don't know how that report is being presented for the purposes of next steps. All I know is they're waiting for a report. They know it's going to be a long report. There's probably things in that report that they're going to say that's not the route that we want to take. I don't know. I can't speak for them. But I believe that we will and should have a say on anything that we think has a long-term implication on school budgets and or capital planning and or other situations. And that can lead into another discussion if we're done with that.
So I would like to make a motion that we authorize our liaison to contact the select board to ask to have the Collins report given to us, a copy of it given to us as soon as it comes out, which should be within a week or so. That motion would need a second.
From what you've said, we're going to get a
We're going to
copy.
get a copy anyway.
It's
Right.
my understanding, but that's exactly what I've been told, and I have to take that to heart, that I don't have any questions that I'm not going to get it.
Right.
But I think the motion, if I may interpret the motion, Ms. Powers, is the idea of making sure that there's some type of quote,
Formal.
formal communication between the school committee and the select board. I would just
Correct.
chair to chair or liaison to chair around making sure, when this comes out, can we make sure that we get it? I don't know what the intent is, I'll defer to Ms. Powers, but that's what it
Absolutely,
sounds like.
you are correct. Absolutely. So we should authorize our liaison to the select board to write an email saying as soon as the Collins report comes out, which should be within a week or two, that we want a copy of it so that we can review it. That's the motion.
Is that, I don't want to speak on your behalf, but is that something that you would be willing and able to do?
Sure, I'll be willing and able to do it. I just didn't see a need for it, given what Dr. Byetta stated.
Because it's already coming out?
Right.
The need would be that the Collins report coming out allows the town to get a AAA rating. That AAA rating is going to lower our bond rate. That bond rate being lowered will, if they're able to approve quickly, will allow us to have that lower rate for the next installment of the South School payment. So they're going to want to do it, I would assume, they'll want to do it quickly. So within the next maybe 6-8 weeks. So I would want to I wouldn't want to just say, yeah, we'll give it to you in a month after, finance goes through it, or, I would want it sooner rather than later. And I think I've said before, time is of the essence of this, because I believe they're going to want to put this through quick so that they can get the town, it's a good thing. The town wants the AAA rating so that we can get a lower interest rate.
So, I'm sorry. So you probably want to modify your motion, because from what I understood is that after it's complete, that we get a copy. But what you're telling me is before they complete, we should be involved. Is
That's
that correct?
correct.
Then-
That's correct, as soon as it comes out. So it's going to come out,
It'll come out as a draft.
it'll come out as a draft.
Oh,
Okay.
And then the
Sorry,
finance
that
committee's
wasn't
going to
clear.
get it, they're going to maybe make some modifications. We should get it, we should have a say. Being a governing board, we should have a say.
yeah, I understand now draft, but when you said final, I figured at the
I
end of
don't
it,
think I
there's
said
nothing to say.
final, but
That was my understanding as well, so, yeah, draft clears it up.
Right.
Okay. Is this something that you'd be willing to do? Okay. In that case, I'll second the motion. Okay. I'm like, wait, can I second motions?
I don't,
Typically not.
Yeah, okay, all
Typically
right. I
not.
withdraw my second.
Second it. I'd be
Okay,
happy to second it.
all right.
The CS has got it.
Okay, so the motion is to authorize our delegate to the select board to formally request a draft of the Collins report for school committee review and input.
correct. The
Okay.
draft.
Made by Ms. Powers and seconded by Jen Sears,
Dr. Sears.
Dr. Sears. Do we have any discussion?
We say Dr. Byetta.
Okay, hearing none, roll call vote.
Aye.
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 Motion
Thank
carries 5-0. Armando, thank you for doing that. Okay, perfect. Census data.
Yeah, so we provided last time, if you recall, this very rough draft that we're looking at. And I just wanted to share with the committee, and I apologize that I thought I put it in a memo form and I didn't, but we're very open to the committee wanting further information to be added to this. So I went through all of the data that I could think of that would make some sense and lead to some timely charts and stuff that we, as a committee, like to look at. And so I looked at retention plans for graduates, dropout rates, graduation rates, mobility rates, mass core completion rate, anything and every, advanced placement, SAT, accountability, all of our assessments, including internal assessments that we do, like our STAR, not just our MCAS, which really speaks to here, while this is speaking a lot about community. So if you put the two together, you get a well-rounded picture about our public schools within our community, if you will. I'm going to be assigning this to Diane McDonough, who's Director of Data, and Mr. Calantonio, who has a lot of that personnel data and stuff that I also think should be in there, in terms of the ratios of, class sizes and a number of employees and so on and so forth. So if the committee, we're starting to work on this, so if at any point you're like, hey, I have this idea, I just saw this, just email me. We're happy to, I don't need a vote to ask for that. Eventually, you'll have the full completed draft, and then you can decide on what you want to keep in there and what you want to take out. That makes sense.
Any questions or comments for Dr. Baeta? Dr. Baeta, can you explain to me what mobility rates are?
So we have within the Commonwealth of Massachusetts some interesting language around the idea of populations of students that move within the Commonwealth. We don't do a very good job, by the way, of mobility coming from other states. It's very interesting. So basically, it becomes part of the movement of our students and or families. So for example, added to that number could be McKinney-Vento. Right, so we have a student that now is living in another town but has to come to Stoughton because there was a displacement at their home, usually a fire, that type of stuff. Mobility rates, you can also apply to staffing, which I've seen some districts do, some of the big urban districts do, as a way to show stability, that, we don't have constant turnover of staff. Usually, by the way, that starts with seeing numbers that you don't really like. Like, you'll be like, okay, 72% of our staff is here stays within 5 years. Well, that could be considered a very low number versus 89% in another community. So you can track it any kind of way that you want. That makes sense to you?
It does, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions or data points that are of interest to the committee members? All right, hearing none, moving on. MCAS informational packet.
We want to try to start a new tradition. Stoughton Public Schools, I've been here for a couple of years, and this is something I've been doing for a long time, and I'm happy to report Diane McDonough through all of her work. This is your all-inclusive 2025 MCAS and local STAR results.
You're not doing the civics test yet?
In terms of the data and information, some of that is just is not
Okay.
accountable information yet, but yes, we'll be adding that too. And the idea is to share this with you, the community, and then publish it with the town, with the community at large on our web page, just to allow people to look at this. But what we also did is we tried to provide through the work just some simple, if you will, 10,000 feet executive session notations. And so at the next meeting, the 18th, and the reason why I'm giving it to you today, I guess this is your homework, is take a look at the packet, take a look at what you're seeing. There's a lot of information here, and I would argue there's too much information here, right? And so what are the ones that we think, as an individual school committee member, through policy, through goals for the district, through priorities from the district, that you see would be reports that make sense for us to be published? Because one of the things we want to publish after we agree on this is we want to publish this in multiple languages, right? We want to make sure that the data is the data, but we want to be able to translate this information into as many different of our key languages as we have here. So it's broken up into 6 parts. We did include both accountability and chronic attendance as part of this. Chronic attendance, we have a working group, and I'd like to announce tonight that the working group is targeting grade 1 as a pilot program this year. We are targeting chronic absenteeism in grade 1, and that's based on K data, where we see a significant number of students not coming to school in kindergarten because kindergarten is not required, is some of that, and other family decisions. But we also see that impact continuing on in first grade. So we are targeting our first grade chronic absenteeism internally, of course. We started publishing some numbers in the newsletter this past week. Our goal right now is to, as a district, be above 95% attendance. 95 should be our lowest number. We are currently just above 96%, which, to be quite honest, is pretty darn good so far this year, and better than it was last year at this time. So that's a good thing. The second part is We're spending a lot of time trying to be proactive with families at the building-based level by having those discussions about the importance of attendance, opening our ears and minds to issues that are going on with families, i.e., just a simple example, but yet complicated, older sibling taking care of younger siblings, so because somebody's sick, and there's nobody else to take care of the 5 or 6 year old. We're really paying attention to those issues as part of our response, and we're targeting grade 1, to be quite honest, to see if this pilot will work. Can we get populations of students? So, how many students does that affect? Right now, it's about 12 to 15 kids district-wide in first grade. You might not think that's a lot, but the fact is that's enough for us to say, let's take a look at what's happening here and why is it happening. We're doing all of that.
Can I stop?
It's part of that response. Yes?
I'm sorry, I don't want to break your concentration on it. So, I don't know if I understood this right. And you're targeting grade 1, but really it's a target of 12 to 15 first graders? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, it's
Did I
about 12.
misunderstand?
Currently, those students that have already missed X number of days is about 12 to 15 students in grade 1.
Okay,
But that
and-
number is growing almost weekly.
Okay, so what can a school do to, or what are we doing?
So we have the legal requirements, communication after 5 days, 10 days, 15 days. They can be dropped off the rolls after 15 days, which I don't recommend, we just do.
Do we have
got-
that issue with some of them?
Oh,
15
sure.
days away from school in first grade?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. We have, our working committee with targeting this group is really taking a look at our building-based support teams, our BBSTs. Our building-based support teams are looking at it from an academic perspective and a social-emotional behavioral perspective. So if it's a social-emotional behavioral perspective, we're involving our counseling. If it's about academics, then we're involving our interventionists. And we're making sure that our parents know that these are available to you. School day, we're not asking for anybody to stay a longer school day or anything else, not yet anyways, that's something that we're thinking about. And the idea behind the building-based support teams is to really get families at the table, families and guardians. Whoever that makeup of that family is, we need you at the table with us in order to make sure that Joey's coming to school on a regular basis. And the reason is the research is clear. If you're in K-3 with attendance issues, middle school and high school issues grow by leaps and bounds. And
We're
part of-
approaching families in a nurturing, non-threatening way.
Yeah, this is all.
Not like,
this is
hey, you
built-
better get your
no,
kids
this is
into
building-
school.
This is people knowing people. So you got Rob Cancelleri sitting down with his team and as a team of educators talking and then bringing that to parents as part of the process. Like, we really want to work with you on X, Y, Z.
Okay, yeah,
So,
because
yeah, it's not a.
the approach on
we are
that,
not
I
taking-
assume, would be,
We are not taking the approach of disciplinary action against a student or any of that. It doesn't work.
it doesn't.
You may need to get there, but that's not the step you start with.
No,
in my opinion.
Put up the walls
So we're not-
immediately, I agree.
right.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for
You bet.
clarifying that. And I just have one other question, just regarding that, is I thought I read in here that or maybe in the smaller one, the biggest group is your high-need students.
Yeah.
And your low-income students.
Yeah.
So maybe I can just ask you, why, I mean, not that first grade isn't a great place to start, but just what made you decide to start with first grade and not the high needs or low income?
So we're utilizing every subgroup throughout the district. We're not doing nothing with those kids. We're just trying to say, if we do A, B, and C, can we see some type of a positive impact for every other group? Basically, we're targeting a group based upon how many people we have. All of us are doing something else for work. We've taken this on because we think it's important to make sure kids are in school. So all of these issues that you just heard about with the contact at home, the letters that go home and all that, that's happening across the board. That's K through 12 in every one of our schools. At the high school, it becomes significantly complicated because they're growing a transcript, right? And they have to be in class on a regular basis. So there's an impact on that. That's why tomorrow morning we have our second Stoughton Academy kickoff, which we'll be reporting back to you in the near future about that and about how we're trying to support kids and families right away with credit recovery and not just summer school and all that stuff.
Happy to hear that.
Yeah.
But
So the idea is that we're looking at a certain grade and saying to ourselves, what do we see there? And do we see something there that can help us answer the question of chronic absenteeism as kids are getting older? yes or no.
So it's the test group, and then whatever works there, you're going to
Right, so.
continue on to the high needs,
Yeah.
and hopefully target the ones that are having the biggest issues.
Right, so like right
I see.
now, Jeff is working on getting out, we've been working on this for a while, but we're working on getting out campaign lawn signs that say, going to school is important, attendance matters. Just like really light, but yet you see a sign and you're like, oh, wow, the school system cares about kids coming to school. Isn't that great? You know, sometimes we see bumper stickers that say, my kid is the best at something. This one is just saying, hey, coming to school is your work. You know, when you're safe and when you're, when you're not sick, and this is where you go. So little things like that, just to see if we can change mindsets.
Thank you, I'm sorry to
Yep.
break the rule.
That's okay. That leads, Madam Chair.
Okay. I did have one question regarding that, Dr. Baeta. Back in the day, in order to qualify for public assistance,
Yeah.
if you had dependents, it required compulsory school. Once every 10 days, we would see a pattern. So I was wondering about the impact of the government shutdown and what you think that might have on attendance.
Yeah. So compulsory education as a federal law has gone from having a bite to having no bite, right? We used to have kids that families would receive Social Security checks or their SNAP supports, and literally attendance of the student at school was part of that. That's been gone for years, probably more than a decade. So the issue that we have before us with Stoughton has, I just read this local article, we have 4,500 people in the town of Stoughton out of 30,000 that get SNAP support. The estimate is that approximately 2/3 of those are under the age of 18. Just think about that right now. So Mr. Gougel's comments earlier tonight around, that's really what we're trying to do in Stoughton, is as we hear something, we do something. So if we know we have a family that's in need, I just mentioned the other day to members of the team that, if we have to take a look at our lunch program, like we did in COVID, then we're going to look at that. We want to make sure that kids are having their breakfast, it's free already. Lunch, it's free already, and if we have to come up with a financial system through supports or to have them take home a bag lunch or a bag dinner, then we'll do that. But there's also the third party, which is all of the different churches, synagogues, temples, food pantries that are available in town that, as a school community, we could literally do can drives and probably collect a lot of different stuff. It's, the quality of food around that is always a concern for me because of, canned products and all of that and saturated fats. But the fact is, at the end of the day, we're trying to make sure that kids are eating correctly as much as possible. But that's a great question. I never would have guessed 4,500 residents of this town. And that's not this year's number. So I didn't see the report say if it was 23 or 24, but I don't think it was 25 numbers.
Given our high needs, that doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
Given our low-income status, doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
So, thank you for that question.
Thank you. Any other questions for Dr. Baeta?
I'm sorry, is he continuing on, or is this the end of?
No,
this?
that was the end of it, because now it's
Okay.
homework time, and then we're going to come back and have a presentation, a formal presentation, and then have Q&A, and then go from there with it.
So what are you looking for us to do with this specifically?
I would start with the executive summary and take a look and say, what about this surprises you or doesn't? I would start there. And I would start it from the perspective of what do you think as a school committee member could be a priority as part of our FY27 budget and going forward?
You want to know what
Right.
is a priority to us to work it within the budget for next year?
Yep.
Got it.
Or future budgets, because it's not a one-time-fits-all mentality. It's literally, and we have a triennial plan, as you know, that has supports there for some of these issues already. But the intent here is truly to have the committee's input within the realm of the committee under policy, finance, and literally the evaluation of the superintendent or the goals of the superintendent as we move forward. It doesn't hurt the administration to receive that from you. It just gives us a different perspective. And then from there, how do we actually work this in order to improve? If that makes sense.
No, it's appreciated. As a matter of fact, we are the voice of the people in town as representatives, voted in by the people. So the more input that the administration takes from us, the more they get from the town. So it's appreciated that you bring that up.
And there's a lot of information there that's literally, it's informational. I mean, it gets into the weeds in some areas that I don't think you want to be in. It's hard enough for me to be in it, but it's part of trying to work this through.
Okay,
All right?
all right. Anything else? All right, hearing none, I'm going to the school committee updates. At this point, I would like to remind my fellow committee members that because of open meeting law constraints, we need to make sure that we stick to the agenda as written. However, any school committee member can request an agenda item, can even do it within the meeting through a motion and a second to have something added. So if there's something that you would like to discuss that is not on the agenda, we need to follow protocol to make sure that it is formally added to the agenda. In terms of communications, I have none. So moving on to the MASC resolutions, you've had some time to sit with the resolutions, and Jillian has graciously agreed to represent the school committee at the delegates meeting on November 14th. So I wondered if I'd like to open it up for discussion in terms of any resolutions that you would like her to have a voice on, if any.
I believe we got communications from the superintendent on some recommendations. Would you like to voice your recommendations?
Madam Chair, through you.
Yes, thank you.
So I don't know if I'd say I made recommendations more than some of my thoughts on this. Like, your only real resolution before you that you know of is going to be there is the one on the BMI testing from schools, which is something that, to be quite honest, after a few years ago, I don't know if you recall, any of you that have older children, a few years ago that they did the BMI testing with, kids are obese and all of that stuff, and it caused complete chaos. And
Athletes.
Julie, Ms. Miller, I'll defer to you and Mr. Colantonio. I don't know if you remember this, but I know as a superintendent, my phone went off the hook because we were being asked to send letters home. We're being asked to have pediatricians sign off, that they had received it, and of course, they didn't want it. They were like, and I don't know if you know this, but, I don't know any true kid that goes to the doctors and the doctor utilizes BMI and.
It used to be on them.
But
Used to be
no,
on
I know.
pediatricians'
Yeah,
reports.
absolutely. But we didn't feel as school systems that was our place. So we pushed back on it. So I know that we're not using it. I don't know this comes as a resolution. So maybe there's something going on in on the folks who sent this up. But that would be the one that I would say, yeah, we don't need to be doing BMI testing and place it on schools. But again, that's a school committee decision, not mine. But that's the only resolution we know that's happening. All of the other ones are the ones that are about to close out. So it's just going to be a matter of, does somebody make a motion on the floor? And then from there, what happens to that? And I would say that the biggest one financially as an impact is the one on the balance allowed by this special education fund. Moving that from 2% to 5% only helps. It's not going to hurt. But that being said, I don't know if that's going to be moved. This is the first year for me where I've seen more of these and less resolutions in all the years that I've been involved. So unfortunately, to our representative, Jillian, I think it's on Friday that it happened, so I'm not allowed to be there, so I don't partake, but feel free to text me if you're thinking something's come up and you need more information. I'm happy to provide it. We don't know what's going to happen.
Anything else besides what's on here?
So Massachusetts has the safe statute around transgender students. I guess this is more regarding the sanctuary laws for transgender students. Again, it's been kind of quiet, and I think it's been quiet in terms of the resolution because we already have safe schools legislation in the books in Massachusetts. Membership on the board, that has been there multiple times before. So the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education does not have a school committee representative on it. And the intent has always been, neither do superintendents, by the way. The intent of the makeup, so this is really pushing that there should be one elected school committee member from the state that would sit on the board on behalf of all of the school committee members. I think you're going to vote yes for that, and it's never going to happen. Sorry. Local governance, that's all about the state receivership stuff. You know, this is the Southborough, the old
Lawrence.
Chelsea, the Lawrence. Like, hey, we don't believe in that stuff. It's up to us locally to get out of a mess if we're in a mess. The state law, however, is totally, gives the commissioner the right to do so. Personal finance literacy education, we already do this at Stoughton High School. We're already have students taking financial literacy, but this is a move to literally put it into the state statute as a mandate for all kids. I don't actually think it's a bad thing. The problem is it's an unfunded mandate, right? It's like, where does the materials come from? You know, if you need if you need to hire another teacher, who is that teacher? You know, so it truly is an unfunded mandate, and I think it's a good idea. But the question is, how do you fund it? And I'm surprised to see it coming from the school committee, because school committees and superintendents, our number one thing is always be, the state stop giving us unfunded mandates. But here it kind of is, because it wants to make it a requirement, and not every high school is prepared to just do it like Stoughton High School's done it. I can assure you of that. And then the last one is the establishment of a regional school assessment reserve fund. This is an interesting one for me. So this is coming out, this is about taking our regional schools, so the Whitman Hansons, it says regional schools, so I'm going to guess it includes our vocational partners. I don't know that to be true, but in essence, the idea is that they have the right to keep some type of a reserve fund. So my first question that I have for you is, what is your reserve fund? Zero. You have a transportation revolving account, you might have an athletic revolving account, you have a food services revolving account, but that is not the same thing as or a transportation one as well. That is not the same thing as a reserve account. That's a revolving account. A revolving account can only pay for the money received to go back into it. Transportation to transportation, food services to food services, so on and so on. A reserve account is the ability to move money into an account that then allows you the following year to expend it or years to expend it in any way that you, the school committee, believes it should be expended on the recommendation. So with reserve accounts, the issue here is they already have what's called E and D, or excess and deficiency funds. They can keep up to 5% of their operational budget year after year after year. One of the best school systems to ever do that, and I commend them for it, is our vocational school, Southeastern Regional. Absolutely has done it the right way. They're able to, if they save some money, they're able to utilize it as a way to put into the right expenses. It's one of the reasons why they had such a successful renovation addition of their school. Think about that. And stayed within budget. So it's an ability to carry over up to 5%. So let's say we're a $70 million budget. So if we had $3.5 million left at the end of the year, you wouldn't have to spend it or give it back to the town. You can keep it in that 5% account. Deal breaker. We are not allowed to do that by statute. Only the regionals are. And so.
By state statute or
By
town?
state statute. So by creating this reserve fund based on the assessment, one of the positives, I did get reached out by our representative from Southeastern, and they could still be filing it, I know this to be true with town meeting, is to start a vocational reserve fund. The idea behind that is like your special education stabilization account. The idea is to put money to the side so when the bill for Southeastern is higher than expected, you can go into that account. The question becomes, where does that money come from? It would only come from things like free cash, or it would come from, which supposedly can't be used for operations, so therefore maybe not a bad use, but then that also takes away from other things that Stoughton Public Schools might want, i.e. capital. So this is now old, because it's like they said, and I think it's in your handout, it says that basically these resolutions are going to die if they're not acted on. So this reserve account, the way that I read it, is established for the purposes of making sure that, and it says the language in here, regional school committees, the Municipal Modernization Act of 2016, which is the last one that they did, aimed to grant more local control and encourage financial efficiencies where possible. The precedent exists in statute, blah, 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 it already says that. Therefore, be resolved that legislation to enact or amend legislation which permits municipalities to establish a regional school assessment reserve. So if this were to pass, then Stoughton could consider it. If this were to pass, then Norton, which is southeastern, where I came from, could consider it. Don't have to do it, but they can consider it.
Consider having one.
Correct. It's a local, first of all, this would have to go from a positive vote of the delegation at the school committee meeting to the State House, where somebody would have to file a bill, or get the bill supported. From there, get it through legislation, and then from there, get sent back to the towns, and then the towns with their town meeting could decide if they want to do one or not. That would be the process.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
When it says reauthorization of previously approved resolutions, if we send our delegate, would that delegate be, is this one vote?
See,
One reauthorization of all or individual?
I don't know.
Okay.
And that's the big question mark that I have. Typically, I would argue that when you have resolutions that have already been passed, they're going to bring brought forth as a packet. But,
That's what it looks
but
like.
but it could be a motion on the floor to change that. They, remember, I don't know, Armando, if you had one year, but there's been years when there's been multiple amendments on the floor, hours, and, majority votes. So I think we just have to, I think you should just give Jillian the broadest authority for her to make a decision in the best interest of the town of Stoughton and Stoughton Public Schools, because I don't know how it's going to go.
So for this, your recommendation would be to say yes to Resolution 1,
Correct.
and then reauthorization, should we go through individually each one? Or should we say, okay, we authorize our representative, if it's a full, to just authorize all of them?
To me, that's your easiest vote, because Jillian may hear something at the meeting where somebody is pulling something out of that resolution that doesn't make sense to Stoughton. And that's the issue. If they acted as one, then you could vote tonight that you're supporting that Jillian vote yay on all of them because it's being acted as one.
And your recommendation would be to have her say yes to all of this? Or would your recommendation be, maybe individually, but not as a whole?
I don't believe that these resolutions that are in a whole as a group are going anywhere.
So again, your recommendation would be no.
My recommendation would be, well, you have a yes or no or an abstention, depending on what happens on the floor. I just don't know what's going to happen. And that's always the issue with the delegate, is that what you hear here could be easily, but if somebody makes a motion, the question would be, can they make a motion? If they make that motion, what do they need for a second, and then what do they need for a vote? I don't know if it's 2/3 or a majority.
I guess I suppose my question would be, does anyone feel very strongly one way or the other about anything on here? Or to give me the ability to make the best choice while I'm there?
I don't see anything on here that I would necessarily say no
I agree.
to.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think the only thing I saw was the financial literacy, how you brought up having a mandate and not have funds to pay for it would be a struggle for other districts.
But again, remember, once it goes through the delegation process, it's got to be filed as a bill. State reps and senators have to grab onto it and say they want to do it. And then that's when all of us have to say, well, wait a minute, we're all for it. Let's say they say, we're going to make it as part of a new graduation requirement. Okay, so, fine. But what does that mean? What does that mean is it a math course? Is that considered your 4th year of math? Because we have a 4-year requirement for math. Or is that on top of? Is that our decision or the state's decision? So I'm always a little hesitant. I'm a local control guy, as you probably can tell from the way I speak. I'm not a big fan of all that other stuff, but I think you should go in with the understanding of clarity that resolution number 1 on the BMI, we don't want to be in that business. So I would say support that, and then I would say support the resolution as they're currently written, because there's nothing really there that's going to hurt you as a town. That would be my recommendation. There's nothing there that I would say is, quote, controversial. Because even if the regional thing were to go to the State House and pass, and it came back, then you still got homework to do back at home because the town can accept it or reject it. I'll leave it at that.
I would just like to say that that last one, establish of a regional school reserve fund, would be a big yes for me. I know that when I went to the MASC Day on the Hill, that was something they were lobbying strong for, because these regional schools have a harder time coming up with funds. A lot of them are at net school funding, so they can't raise funds like just a straight one can. So I know that was kind of a big one that everyone was doing.
Okay.
So do we need to make a motion to have Jillian?
Well, I'd like to go around and just check the pulse of everybody else in terms of, and what your opinions are, your reflections are on any of these resolutions, just so Jillian has information from all the school committee members in terms of potential priorities. And then we can, after that, once she knows the will of the committee, then we can authorize her as a delegate. So, starting with you, Jen.
I sort of agree with Ms. Bowers on this. I think that all these could be yes. I definitely agree that the BMI needs to go away. I mean, that's definite. But I also trust Jillian to vote with the, as she's listening to people, she's going to be there,
Yeah.
hearing what's going on.
Yeah.
Something might change her mind, but we have to trust Jillian to vote the best way she
Yeah.
knows.
Okay, thank you. Armando?
I'll second what you just said. I really think that.
Microphone, sir?
I really think if there are changes, Jillian will handle it, and if there are not, with Dr. Byada's recommendation, we should go forward.
Okay, perfect. And I concur with the group. I believe the BMI one needs to go. The only one that I have very strong feelings about in the resolutions is personal financial literacy education as a mandate. I would not be in favor of that, which is surprising given my history in the financial education space as written, but passing this is not going to hurt anything. So, but I agree with Dr. Byada, and I've seen school districts do some really amazing creative things when they don't have a staff person that they can dedicate to it. So being able to figure out what that looks like for their students and for their community, I think makes sense. And then there's the whole issue of a legit curriculum and training for teachers. So that's a whole other fun thing. But yeah, I agree with that as well. Jillian, any questions that you would like to ask the committee as you prepare for this role?
I guess just for clarification, I'm going to, for the will of the committee, to vote yes to remove the BMI. If all the resolutions come in one package, to vote in the affirmative for all the resolutions. But for the financial literacy one, since I had reservations, you also had reservations. If this is separate, would it be the will of the committee if I voted no on that?
I would be fine with that as well.
Okay. Okay. Unless there's something that comes up that is different, but if it's the will of the committee to say no, I'm just going to say no regardless.
It looked like you got an affirmative all around the table on that, so,
Awesome.
okay. All right, so that being said, do I have a motion to authorize Jillian DeStefano to vote on behalf of the Stoughton School Committee at the 2025 MASC delegate convening on November 14th?
So moved.
I will give that to Jen Sears. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Armando. Motion has been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I would just like to ask you to clarify what she already just said it, but as a formal motion, what she's voting on, what the committee is asking her to vote on.
So,
Be put into the motion.
is to vote yes for the resolution number 1 to remove the BMI. And two options here, if the reauthorization of the resolutions is one singular package, to vote in the affirmative. If they're split up, to vote yes on all except for the financial literacy.
Okay, if I can amend the motion Jen, if it's allowed. So I'd like to amend the motion to authorize Jillian DeStefano to vote on behalf of the Stoughton School Committee according to the discussion at the November 4th school committee meeting at the 2025 MASC delegate convening.
I second the amended motion.
All right, so that has been, well,
So,
Jen.
yeah, I'll move.
Move,
for
thank you.
Karen can-
And Ms. Powers then seconds that.
Good
Any
teamwork right there.
discussion? All right, hearing none, roll call vote.
Aye.
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 All right, motion carries 5-0. Jillian, once again, thank you again for representing.
Do
Be
it.
curious to get your take on the convening.
I'm excited. Armando shared with me a little bit that there's some good discussions that go on, so I'm excited.
Excellent. Okay, moving on, we have an out-of-state field trip request. Dr. Baeta, can you bring us up to speed on
Madam
that?
Chair and members of the committee, the only time that you vote on a field trip authorization is when it goes out of state. This brought both Ms. Miller and myself and Mr. Colantano back to our days when we were in our glory days as either teachers or students. I went to the Breakers as a student at Stoughton High School, so this is very traditional, I think,
I did
since I
too.
graduated a ton of years ago. This is approved the out-of-state field trip request from the Stoughton High School to tour the Breakers Mansion in Newport. And you have, of course, the connection to the Roaring Twenties, the Great Gatsby, and so on and so forth as part of the social studies and English curriculum. I am asking you to support it, please.
Okay. Any questions for Dr. Baeta? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the out-of-state field trip request from Stoughton High School to tour Breakers Mansion in Newport, Rhode Island?
So moved.
That motion was made by Armando. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Jillian. Motion has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. The next regular meeting of the, no, you're not allowed to vote. Yes, what would you, sorry.
I just want to congratulate the Stoughton High School marching band.
Yes, thank you.
For their participation this past weekend, hosting 22 bands at the U.S. Bands, and coming in first place in Division, I believe it's 4?
4.
First place in Division 4 again. I want to also reach out to them and publicly say, I did go, but I didn't go in. I was outside on the road, and I'm sorry, guys, because I said I was coming. I did watch it from the road because I had just come from working at my parents' house, and I was not clean enough to show up. So I
I
stood
saw them
outs-
at Micah. They were amazing.
So,
The best show I've ever seen.
Yeah,
So
it was,
good.
it was great. I just want to congratulate because we had a little hiccup with everything that was going on, and at the end of the day, perfect day. Everybody had fun, and I congratulate them. They're awesome, and I love them on social media, by the way. If you have Instagram, they just did something on who do they look up to, and they took a lot of the younger kids, because I don't know if you know this, we have some middle school kids that are in our band, and really, really caring stuff. So congratulations to the
Starts in
leadership.
seventh
and,
grade.
Yeah.
Yes, congratulations to them, and I just wanted to make that a special announcement, so thank you.
And special congratulations to the Stoughton Pops, and a special thank you for everything that they did to make that event happen. That is not a light lift.
Yep.
So thank you so much
Yes.
for mentioning that, and you should have kicked me harder under the table.
Okay.
All right, so can I have, next regular school committee meeting is in this room, November 18th, 2025, at 6 PM. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, that motion was made by Jen. Do I have a second?
Second?
That was made by Jillian DeStefano. Motion has been moved and seconded. Roll call vote.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. We are now adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for celebrating.
Time
kids,
is
by the way.
7:58 PM.
I want to make sure.